In the tumultuous landscape of early 20th century China, a new force was beginning to take shape. As the last embers of the Qing dynasty flickered and died, China found itself on the cusp of a new era. The fall of the Qing dynasty marked the end of over 2,000 years of imperial rule and ushered in the Republican era. But the winds of change were blowing in more than one direction. As the Republican era struggled to find its footing amidst social upheaval and political instability, another force was rising from the shadows. The ideas of communism, once relegated to the fringes of society, were gaining momentum. From this turbulent milieu emerged a figure who would shape the course of China's history in ways no one could have imagined. A man who came from humble beginnings, but whose vision and determination would transform him into a symbol of revolution and change. Enter Mao Zedong, a name that would soon become synonymous with China's transformation. Born into a peasant family in 1893 in Hunan, Mao Zedong's journey to leadership was far from ordained. From an early age, Mao was influenced by his father's revolutionary spirit and his mother's Buddhist teachings. He attended a local school where he was exposed to the classics of Chinese literature, and it was here that Mao first encountered the ideas of Confucius and Mencius. But his education didn't stop there. His thirst for knowledge led him to a modern school in Changsha, where he was introduced to Western philosophy and political thought. It was here that he first encountered the writings of Karl Marx, and the seeds of his future revolutionary ideas began to take root. In 1919, Mao took an active role in the May 4th movement, a nationwide protest against the Treaty of Versailles. His involvement in this movement marked his first significant step into the political arena, and the experience would shape his future leadership of China. The seeds of revolution had been planted. In the wake of the May 4th movement, the political landscape in China began to shift. This movement, born out of student-led protests against the Treaty of Versailles in 1919, sparked a wave of nationalist sentiment and a call for radical changes. It was on this wave that the Communist Party of China was born. In July of 1921, a small gathering of radicals convened in the French concession of Shanghai. This clandestine meeting marked the birth of the Communist Party of China, a party that would shape the destiny of the nation. Among the delegates was a young library assistant from Hunan province, Mao Zedong. Mao's role within the party was initially modest, but his ideological commitment and strategic mind would soon catapult him to the forefront. The Communist Party of China, however, was not the only political force in the country. The Nationalist Party, or the Kuomintang, led by Sun Yat-sen and later Chiang Kai-shek, also sought to reshape China in its vision. Initially, the Communists and the Nationalists formed a united front to end the era of warlords and foreign domination. But ideological differences and power struggles soon led to a split. The year 1927 marked the start of a brutal civil war. The Nationalists, now under the leadership of Chiang Kai-shek, turned against their former allies, initiating a purge known as the Shanghai Massacre. The Communists were forced underground and into the countryside, where they began to build a base among the peasantry. Mao, unlike many of his comrades, believed that the peasants, and not the urban proletariat, were the key to revolution. Mao's strategies during the Civil War, including the use of guerrilla warfare and the creation of rural base areas, were crucial in the survival and growth of the Communist Party. His leadership during this period solidified his position within the party and set the stage for his eventual rise to power. As the Nationalists and Communists locked horns, Mao's star was on the rise. This was the crucible in which Mao Zedong, the future chairman of the People's Republic of China, was forged. The Long March, a grueling 6,000-mile trek, marked a turning point for Mao and the Communist Party. Imagine the year is 1934. The Chinese Communist Party, under severe pressure from Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist forces, undertakes an epic journey to escape annihilation. This is the Long March, a year-long odyssey that would test the mettle of even the most hardened soldiers. The journey began in the Jiangxi province with the Red Army, numbering in the tens of thousands, traversing through mountains, rivers, and hostile territories. They were constantly pursued by the nationalist forces and often faced extreme weather conditions. Yet they pressed on, driven by a shared vision of a communist China. But the Long March was more than just a physical journey. It was a crucible in which the future of the Communist Party was shaped. The march was fraught with strategic blunders and power struggles. Mao, however, proved himself to be a master of guerrilla warfare and a charismatic leader. His strategies kept the Red Army alive and moving, and his speeches kept morale high. As the march wore on, Mao's influence grew. He started to win over his comrades with his unyielding spirit and strategic acumen. By the time the Red Army reached its destination in Shanxi, Mao was in a position of authority. The Long March had turned him from a peripheral figure within the party to its central leader. The Long March also served as a potent propaganda tool for the communists. The tales of heroism and sacrifice, the resilience and determination of the Red Army captured the imagination of the Chinese people. Mao became a symbol of resistance against the nationalists, and his vision of a new China resonated with many. From the ashes of the Long March, Mao emerged as the undisputed leader of the Chinese Communist Party. His ascension marked the start of a new chapter in Chinese history, one that would be dominated by his vision and leadership for the next few decades. The year 1949 marked a new chapter in China's history, with Mao at its helm. As the curtains of the tumultuous Chinese Civil War drew to a close, the landscape of China was drastically reshaped. The nationalist forces, led by Chiang Kai-shek, found themselves in retreat, their power dwindling in the face of the relentless Red Army. The balance of power had shifted, and the stage was set for a new era. The nationalists' retreat was not a silent one. It echoed with the sounds of a nation in transition, a nation caught in the throes of a profound transformation. The retreat was not just physical, but ideological, marking the end of a rule that had failed to unite the nation and the start of a new, radical vision for China's future. This vision was embodied by none other than Mao Zedong, the charismatic leader of the Communist Party. As the nationalists retreated to Taiwan, Mao ascended to power, his gaze fixed firmly on the road ahead. On October 1, 1949, Mao stood atop Tiananmen Gate in Beijing and declared the establishment of the People's Republic of China. This was a momentous occasion, a turning point in the annals of history, not just for China, but for the world. The establishment of the People's Republic marked the birth of a new China, a China that was rooted in the principles of communism, a China that sought to break free from the shackles of feudalism and the scars of war, and a China that aspired to stand on an equal footing with the world's superpowers. Under Mao's leadership, the People's Republic embarked on a radical journey of transformation. From land reforms to the Great Leap Forward, Mao's policies sought to reshape China's socio-economic fabric, aiming to create a society where the means of production were owned by the people, for the people. Yet, this journey was not without its bumps and detours. The road to realizing Mao's vision was fraught with challenges, with the consequences of his policies often resulting in unforeseen and devastating outcomes. With the establishment of the People's Republic, Mao's vision for a new China was set in motion. Mao Zedong's legacy is as complex as the man himself. His range of policies, from the Great Leap Forward to the Cultural Revolution, have left an indelible mark on China's history. The Great Leap Forward, an ambitious plan aimed at rapidly transforming China into an industrial powerhouse, unfortunately resulted in what's often referred to as the largest famine in human history. On the other hand, the Cultural Revolution, a decade-long period of political and societal upheaval, aimed to purge capitalist elements from society, but it led to widespread chaos and cultural and intellectual stagnation. These policies have sparked a continuous debate about Mao's legacy. Regardless of one's perspective, it's undeniable that Mao's leadership has influenced the trajectory of China's development in profound ways. Mao Zedong, a figure who indelibly shaped China and left an impact on the world that continues to be felt today.